Hi, welcome back. Are we up and running? Yes. Thanks for tuning in again. And this is our second session. And I'm probably going to talk a bit quickly and hopefully not too quickly, just pack in a little bit. So you probably all recognize this, Leonardo da Vinci's The Mona Lisa. And the reason I'm showing you this is because today I want to talk about complementary colours, which are not primary colours. Yesterday we were talking about there's the colour wheel, the red, blue and yellow, and then the mixes in between secondary colours. And I put up a link that if you looked you'd see a little bit on tertiary colours and an introduction to maybe complementary. And the complementary colours are the ones that sit opposite each other on the colour wheel. So the complementary to yellow would be this maroon or purple, depending how much blue you used. And the complementary is always is the mix of the other two primaries. So if yellow is the primary, its complementary is going to be the mixture of red and blue. So blue is a primary and its complementary is going to be a mix of the other two primaries, red and yellow, so it's going to be orange. And red across the colour wheel is green, which is a mixture of blue and yellow. So that's the way in your head, if you get familiar with your colour wheel. And I'd really recommend that you paint it. There's nothing like it is experiential. You really do need to do it yourself and you learn so much. I think exercises are great as well because you don't have any great end result. It's a learning process. So I'm showing you the Mona Lisa simply to try, and you may not see it there, all these wonderful subtle browns. If I put maybe the sun behind the phone, you might catch it better. There's just gorgeous tones there, flesh tones, warm, creamy tones. And this is why you need to know really about colour mixing. There's no primary colour there in the Mona Lisa. I want to prop this up now so you can see my palettes and there. So there's no bright red, no bright yellow, no sharp blues. Everything is subtle and low key and creates this lovely kind of warm, yet sort of mixture of warm, cool, aloof atmosphere. Here's another one, very similar palette, Edward Hopper, this very iconic American painter painting in the 1950s. Earlier, this one was 1930. And again, this is more realistic, more representational. And again, these lovely subtle greens, mixed up greens, gorgeous sort of terracottas, oranges, umbery colours. Beautiful, a little tiny bit of primary there at the front in that staff thing, gives it a little lift off the page. And then I'll just show you one more and leave it at that, just to put in an abstract. I'm a bit of an abstract lover myself. This is our own Sean Scully, who's alive and well, and he's he's a celebrity painter really at this stage. So there we go. I don't know if you can catch those gorgeous, cool, neutral colours, cool up against warm creams. They're just sort of lickable. So that's just to give you a mixture, and I suppose to tell you the reason why I'm mixing these, what might seem kind of slightly dull browns, but you will use them. So they're actually very easy. I've just very quickly before I came on there, I was mixing up for fun. I put a dollop of red at one end and a dollop of green, just a kind of a mid-green, like a sap green. And I kept adding one to the other. I can't remember which. I started with the green and I think I kept adding in the tiny little bit of red, and eventually I kept going, and you get into this lovely warm browny rusty colours. You can't really catch the lovely browns, the mid browns there, these lovely kind of olivey colours. And this one was I was just playing around with orange, which is a secondary colour, and I was mixing in, I didn't put the blue, a bit of blue because it sits opposite it on the colour wheel. So I'm going to just do that very quickly. If you have a brush and a palette and you happen to have two primaries, this is the time to mix up very quickly if you wanted to mix up. Now I've done it here. I have put out a dollop of red, pure red, straight out of the tube, and I've mixed up blue and yellow and made a green. It's a kind of a sappy green. It's not a dark green. That's a choice. It's slightly different to this one, so you can see. So it's got more yellow in it. You Can't probably see that there now, but it's got more yellow in it than the green on that. So I'm going to put, I'll put a dollop of green here. I'm wondering now, I'll push this over a little bit. There we go. Yeah. And yeah, I'll put my dollop of green here. I have way too much here now, just a little bit. I'm just going to put a teeny little bit, just, I don't know if you can just see that, into this. And just the impact, that tiny bit, and I have a lot of green on my brush. I'm going to keep it, I want the shift to be quite gradual. So it'll show you, I'm wondering, can you see that? I think you can. Put another little bit in, and I'll go along like that. And mix along, and up it goes. And there's a lot of that original green on my brush. I'm a bit of a messy painter, but you'll get the hang of this in no time. And I'd say you can see what's going to happen, and lots of you may have done this already. But it is great fun, and if you've never done it before, it's just so much fun. You learn so much about colour, and it's just so simple. And yes, you mightn't come up with it by yourself if you were left there figuring out. And so this is not about getting an end result, it's just about showing you all these colours. Now I've made a huge jump there. I got a big old dollop of red, so I'm going to put back, because I don't want to leap too far ahead, because we do want to just see the beautiful rich colours we get in between. Yeah, that would get another bit of red in there now. And off we go. Yeah, I made too much. I'm a bit of a messy painter. But I always get, I get great comfort when I go up and I see Francis Bacon's studio in, what's that art gallery at the top of Parnell Square, at the top of O'Connell Street in Dublin. Gosh, I can't remember now. I can't just recall the name of it. But anyway, it's a national gallery, so it's free to go in. And if you ever want to go in there, you'll see Francis Bacon, who's now dead, but his studio is there, and it's a glorious mess. It's all drippy and stuff all over the floor, caked tins that he used for water and paint mixing. And so when I look, sometimes I make a royal mess, I comfort myself with that. National galleries are wonderful places, really, because they always make me feel like I own a bit of art, because they belong to the state. And that's us, guys. So here we are. We're slowly warming up. It's getting a little bit warmer. And you can keep going like this. And the other thing, where you would continue on from here then, is often you will do what's called tinting. Tinting is when you add white. Or toning, I think, yes, is when you add black. You can add a dark colour. I'm going to show you how to make a black, or something very close to black. When you mix three primaries, you can actually make a black, a beautiful sort of nuanced black that doesn't soak the light because out of your painting. Here we are, and we can just put in a good old bit of red there. So we have all of these. So now I'm going to just put those up against, and you will see, oops. So you started at green, and we have this lovely graduation, slowly getting a more rusty orangey. So that's, I'm just looking, that's 9 minutes, so I'm actually going to stop. I was going to do more, but I'll stop for now. Thanks a million. And I hope you mix up just those colours, you know, just green and red. No, sorry. Yes, green. You've got to mix your green, which is a secondary, with the primary. Good luck with that and have fun.